Let's go, my unit, salute, Smackdown, 6/27/25, the go-home show, tonight of champions, more like morning or day of champions for most of you guys. I know it's going to be on early, as it is emanating from Saudi Arabia, but BC will be covering it all for you guys on the channel. There'll be live streams, there'll be full review uploads, so tomorrow, this will be your one-stop shop for all things Night of Champions, all things pro wrestling as per usual. But for this review, this is also taped. It is emanating from Saudi Arabia as well. So the show, much to a lot of you guys' dismay, you think you're going to catch it live. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. As Wade Barrett would say, I got some bad news. But it is taped. The show is already over with, so BC not just has the results, I have the full review, and my thoughts, obviously, on everything that transpired on tonight's show. The good news is, by the time you guys catch this, a lot of you guys, the show might be over anyway. So it's not like you're getting spoilers, so relax. And for a lot of you guys, you might be catching this during SmackDown. This will probably be a hell of a lot more entertaining than the actual show. There's 3 title matches, but don't get it twisted. That doesn't mean you're getting epic television tonight. I can tell you right now in the cold open teaser, in this opening monologue, one of those 3 title matches ended in the most pathetic of ways imaginable. And the division is more than pathetic. We'll talk about it. The second title matchup, in no particular order, but that I'm okay with the finish, but that has to be it. No longer can these two have matchups, and you cannot give this one individual nonstop title matches. No longer makes sense. We'll talk about it. In the third title match, well, I'll go out and tell you right now in the cold open teaser, Zelina, Vega, Giulia, that title has changed hands. And new! After just 9 weeks, Zelina Das Boot, Giulia is now hoisting up U.S. gold. Now, trust me, I praised Giulia before she even got to WWE. She's been top 5, top 3, the best women's wrestler before, I believe, on the PWI 250, I believe it is. On most lists for best female wrestlers, Giulia's always at or near the top of the list. So, Giulia hoisting up a championship, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to rag on that at all. That's more than believable. That's more than acceptable. That's what should be happening. But that doesn't mean you give somebody like Zelina 9 weeks. Even if you don't like Zelina's wrestling, you don't think she should have gotten the title in the first place, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But there's ways to do this, man, where everything works out for the best, for the talent. Right? You have to do more justice for Zelina and not do her dirty like that. Just lose it on a random SmackDown. In Saudi Arabia, mind you, a tape delay SmackDown. And for Giulia winning it, that's her big moment. You couldn't have just waited for a premium live? You couldn't have waited for like Evolution? It's next month. It's in a few weeks. You had to do this now? Nobody wins here. That's the problem. If you're just like, oh, Zelina had to lose it anyway, and it's Giulia, this is the best decision, BC. Well, couldn't we have done it on a bigger stage so it's more meaningful? It has more of an impact. There's more prestige around the championship itself, not just the competitors going for it. You know I'm right, man. Too many times these titles are switching hands on the regular show. I understand pay-per-views are no longer what they once were. A lot of the focus is on the TV shows now because the ratings are so damn bad anyway. I get it. That doesn't mean you switch the titles this much. This is bad, man. Even Jason Uso dropped his championship. He won it at WrestleMania. He loses it on a random Raw. Now, I guess that's the one thing you can say about Vega. She held the title 13 days more than Jason Uso. Something like that, right? He held it about 51 days, I believe. And I believe that Zelina held it 63. I think it was a straight 9-week title reign. She won it on a Friday night SmackDown, April 25th, I believe. And here we are 9 weeks later. So I believe, if my Steiner math is correct, that's 63 days. She beats Jason Uso by about a week and a half. So at least she has that working for her. It's still doing her dirty. Even if you think she shouldn't have had the title, she had to lose it, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But can we do it on a better stage so that Zelina looks better off? And so that it's a bigger moment for Giulia, so that the audience can really see, oh, this is big. Truth is, a lot of people aren't even going to watch this. This is a tape delay show. Spoilers are out there as it is. It's not a premium. You have Evolution around the... That's what I'll say about it. We'll go over it a little bit more when I actually get to that part of the show, but I wanted to speak on that a little bit more in this cold open teaser. Other than that, the only thing I'll mention in this opening monologue is basic Punk-A-NOMICS. If you know, you know. If you've already heard the spoiler, if you're catching this after the show, John Cena redid the pipe bomb from many years ago, rehashing old school CM Punk. So it's only fitting that CM Punk rehashed old school John Cena, even tapping into basic Thug-A-NOMICS. We got basic Punk-A-NOMICS. There was a few flubs. It looked a little bit out of place at times, but damn, that was a lot of fun, man. That was good. Little nods over to Cena burying individuals, even WWE rehiring Nikki Bella, ex-girlfriend of John Cena. But if you're saying that, then Mickie James as well, right? Although I don't think they never called themselves a couple, because Mickie James was dating the Spirit Squad guy, I believe. I think Cena was just banging her as a side chick, I believe. Oh boy. Yeah, that wasn't good. And yeah, that's a quick turnaround, actually, man. For a lot of you guys catching this, it's probably not going to be that far off from Night of Champions going live. So quick turnaround, no opening signature, swig of coffee. We got to jump right into this. And we're kicking off with everybody arriving to the arena, of course. Just because it's in a different country, far away, in Saudi, does not mean you're not going to get the same opening. Everybody's showing up. But here's the good news. The good news is this is the one time where it's a welcoming sight, right? A lot of people were actually kind of worried about the talent with all these travel bans, travel warnings, travel advisories, all this unease in the Middle East, and with travel especially. So, hey, there's all the wrestlers showing up to work. They made it. Yeah, they gave it the old college try and it worked. They're in Saudi to perform. That's always a welcoming sight. It's kind of funny because it was most of the girls, if not all the ladies. And then the Street Profits were shown. I'm like, how did the Street Profits mingle in with all the chickadees? That was interesting. But all the talent has arrived. Cody and Randy Orton would start the actual show with an in-ring promo. Both of these dudes. Orton asks Saudi, did they see Monday Night Raw? Some of the individuals in the crowd were like, yeah, only a few. Because if everybody in Saudi was being truthful, nobody caught Raw. Why would they? There's no reason to catch Monday Night Raw. It's the worst show in television history. So it was kind of hilarious when Randy's like, did you guys watch Raw? And I'm thinking about the Netflix global viewership number, which lost another 215,000 viewers from the week previous. And I'm thinking, no, Randy, globally the number is down dramatically. Nobody watched it. But then Randy doubles down, and Randy says some more stupid shit. He says, Cody and Jason Yederman, Jey Uso, Cody and Jey Uso, they had a match of the year candidate on Monday Night Raw. Destined to win a Slammy for Amadi. Cody and Jey Uso was Amadi? Stop. Jey Uso as a singles wrestler is sad. It's just the fact. It was a decent match, actually. Cody Rhodes, it'd be hard-pressed to have a bad Cody match. It was decent. It's a good at times. Mahdi? Man, Randy Orton. I remember a couple months ago, Randy Orton was, totally glazing over Cody. Calling Cody basically putting up there with the Hogans and the Steve Austins and the... I'm like, calm down, man. The best of all time. The GOAT of GOATs. I'm like, what are you... Man, I like Cody too, and Cody is enjoying a really good run right now as a babyface in WWE, a top babyface. And he's good. But hold on, man. Randy was acting like Cody Rhodes is the best wrestler we've ever seen on the planet. So Randy's on something, man. Just like the commentators. Every match they see is the greatest. It's Marty's. They're blown away, right? It's Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. And they're talking about how it's a classic. It's up there with Ricky Steamboat and Savage. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker 25. I'm like, hold on. It's Jade and it's Nia. But that's WWE's new thing. You know, I understand you want to sell everything like it's even better than it is, but you have to keep it in the realms of realism, the realms of believability. Otherwise, man, it's the boy that cried wolf. And the more we keep hearing this nonsense, we just kind of, yeah, okay. All right. Randy Orton, man, he's on one lately. Match of the year, Cody and Jay. Stop. Anyway, that's when I honestly believe the wrestling gods even had enough. The wrestling gods were like, is this for real? And they just shut everything down. The feed that I had completely went out for almost a half an hour. And I know that that was an issue with many individuals. I was catching it in a much different way. Via Netflix. That's usually for those outside the US. So I know others experienced it as well in different realms and platforms. For my issue, it was almost a half an hour, I believe. My timing might have been a little off, but I was actually okay with it. I was like, yes, just go. Just go. If Randy Orton's talking that junk, and what am I missing? Is Samuel Zayn going to show up? Is Jason Yeaterman going to show up and we're going to yeet for 25 minutes? I didn't even care, guys. I was like, go out. Come back whenever you want. I didn't want to miss the title matches only because I wanted to give you guys a full throttle amplified review. Otherwise, I wouldn't have cared about the title matches either. But for you guys, I wanted to make sure I caught the title matches, and that's what I did. So I don't know what I really missed during this promo in the filler afterwards. Maybe I missed a match. Maybe this led to a match of, I don't know. But when I was able to catch back, it was Jeffrey Cobb Mateo facing Jimothy Uso. So that's where we'll pick this up. So all apologies for everything that happened after Cody and Randy started their promo. But for a lot of us, it just went blank at that point. And at that spot in the promo, just a lot of issues technically. So that's what it is, man. That's what was happening in real time. That's the review I can give you. Again, we picked it up with Cobb and Jimmy Uso, so that's all I can give you guys, man. I can only review what I actually saw. So with this matchup, Cobb and Mateo, Cobb defeated Jimothy Uso via Tour of Islands pinfall, but post-match, Solo attempts to hug it out with Medium Jim. That's right, I said Big Jim, come on. What's big about Jim? So hold up. No, we're not tapping into any Naomi Diaries. Medium Jim, all right, because that makes way more sense. He's not that big of a dude. Medium Jim smacks the taste out of Solo's mouth as Solo tried to hug him. Jimothy's like, no. The heels then attack Jacoby Fatu for the save. Pretty safe segment here, right? You knew Jimothy was going to lose this matchup. Mateo picks up a needed W because he was fastly falling into the realms of irrelevancy. Right there with Mello and others. So, yeah, I will call this a big win for Mateo. I don't know what it truly does for him because by the end of the segment, Jacoby Fatu was laying this dude out. Solo was able to escape as they had a stare down, but Mateo got his ass whooped. So, again, this is the 50-50 booking where you truly don't know what it really does. Jimothy takes an L. All right, nobody cares about Jimothy, unfortunately. That's how bad his booking is. Mateo picks up a W, but by the end of the segment, he's looking up at the lights. 50-50 booking. When it's all said and done, 18 minutes later, nothing moved. No, the needle didn't move one iota. And that's why 50-50 booking is a drag. It is a detriment to these talents. And then we went into the big matchup, Giulia and Vega. Stunning decision by WWE. But they had Vega lose this championship. Giulia defeats Zelina Vega via Northern Lights Bomb to become the new U.S. Women's Champion. Giulia takes the title from Zelina in the middle. Not the main event of a SmackDown. Or at least give them the opening matchup, right? I mean, the opening segment, that's a big opportunity for a lot of eyeballs. The most eyeballs, right? People coming in from the previous show, they're going to watch that first segment maybe. The first segment is huge. If not as big as the main event, it's up there. It's the second biggest segment of the entire show, that first segment. But they couldn't even give them that. They stuffed it in the middle of the show, and they took the title off of Zelina. Now, I know there's a lot of Zelina naysayers, right? Oh, I don't like Zelina. I don't like her wrestling. She shouldn't have got the title. Yada, yada, yada. That's your prerogative. Cool. So you got your wish, and she got her title taken off of her. No longer a U.S. champion. But can't we all agree there's ways to do this better? I say this all the time. First of all, if once in a blue moon championships change hands on shows, cool. It keeps everything fresh. It keeps your viewers thinking, hey, even on these SmackDowns, even on these Raws, titles can change hands, so you have to tune in. I totally get it. Especially now that we have more championships than ever before, you're going to get that. Totally cool. Not this often. I mean, championships are changing hands on Raws and SmackDowns at an alarming rate as it is. But you just had a couple of weeks ago Jason Uso drop his world title on a Raw. It's happening way too frequently and way too foolishly. So now you have Zelina. She's only held the title for 9 weeks straight, 63 days. She held it. She got that thing on a SmackDown in and of itself on April 25th. In the middle of a SmackDown. And then she holds it for 9 weeks, not memorable because they didn't book her for a memorable reign. This isn't a reign where she had a bunch of title defenses and she prevailed and she really made the title prestigious and she got elevated because of this title run. Nothing. 9 weeks? Thanks. You did your job. Basically, a stepping stone champion. A transition champion to get that title to the next, which is Giulia. I don't know if that was the plan from the jump. Sounds like something Helmsley would do. It's so stupid. Giulia getting the title, I'm more than okay with. I've said from the jump before she even got to WWE, that's one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. If she was doing a Mercedes gimmick and she had 6 titles on her right now, it's more than believable. That's how good Giulia is. I'm okay with that. But dude, you can't do Zelina dirty like that. And you can't be you can't have detrimental booking. And that's what this is. You have all these events coming up, man. You got the Night of Champions. You could have just put it's called Night of Champions. And they only have a couple of title matches on the entire card. They're putting 3 title matches before this SmackDown had 3 title matches. That's more than what you're going to get at Night of Champions. So what makes it this is more like SmackDown of Champions. You could have just done this tomorrow. Did you really need to didn't they throw a women's matchup? Isn't it Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez? Isn't that matchup? I think they threw that last minute on the Night of Champions. You couldn't have just put Zelina and Giulia there as a title match and gave Zelina that proper pass off and gave a big moment for Giulia? You couldn't have done that? Is that too much to ask? It's ass backwards booking. So Zelina gets nothing from this. A forgettable 9-week title reign. Laughable, if not sad, that she has to pass it off in the middle of a SmackDown. She just loses it just like that. 9 weeks. Couldn't even be a formidable champion. Couldn't be a fighting champion. She loses it in 9 weeks. So that does nothing for Zelina, clearly. We all can agree on that. And Giulia, her big moment, her big title victory, first one on the main roster for WWE, is in the middle of a SmackDown. That's the best you could have done for Giulia. Even if you didn't want this at Night of Champions, which is mind-bogglingly stupid. Evolution is coming up in a couple of weeks. There's a Saturday night's main event. You could have done it. You could have done it right at Evolution. There's a big SummerSlam. So if you say, well, PC, there's bigger plans. Maybe they want something big with Giulia in SummerSlam. Okay. Night of Champions, Evolution, Saturday night's main event. There's a bunch of big events. The middle of a SmackDown. And when you do shit like that, even if you don't realize it, but trust me when I say subconsciously you are thinking this. Subconsciously, you're taking this in. You're digesting the fact that if this company doesn't care about the damn title and its champions, then the audience isn't going to care about the title or the champions. A very odd decision. Not because Giulia became champion. Props to her, one of the best to do this. Salute. Hopefully you get a kick-ass title reign. But for the lack of what it did for these two individuals, and for the lack of prestige that is put into the U.S. Championship because of this type of pass-off, this is just a bad decision. Giulia getting it, cool. Do it where there's a bigger moment feel, a bigger moment period, which means a bigger stage. That's just the facts, man. Because this was not the most impactful moment you could have had with these two ladies, especially if you're passing a championship over. Just a fact. Most of you guys have seen it. A lot of you guys don't even watch the show. You just listen to BC's review. I thank you guys for trusting BC to be your one-stop shop for all things pro wrestling and for all these shows. So take my word for it if you didn't see this matchup. It could have and should have been better because it should have been bigger. Especially if a title was changing hands. That's my amplified thoughts. Tell me how you really feel, BC. Mic drop. They have to do better in the future. But for now, I will say for Zelina, thank you. Sucks because I'm a big Zelina supporter. You guys know that. My veteran subscribers. Can she improve in areas? Of course. Everybody can. But Zelina, she was so excited and so emotional getting that title. She wanted to really be a good champion and have a memorable reign. And man, it just sucks to see that happen to her. For Giulia, I'm proud of her. Kick ass. But with Hunter Hearst Helmsley, she could be losing it by SummerSlam. She could have an 8 or 9 week title reign tops. Tops. Wild. Giulia becomes U.S. champion. For the ladies, Zelina Vega, after 63 days, 9 weeks, drops the championship. Wild. Backstage. As I told you guys this was happening. I don't bullshit you. Backstage, Alexa Bliss tells Charlie Flair they don't have to be friends, but they can be allies. Work for the common interest of both parties. What do you think she's saying? Guys, I've been telling you this for weeks and weeks. Got to open your eyes to this, man. A lot of you guys didn't want to believe this, but I'm telling you right now, they're positioning them to be a tag team because Charlie is not where they want her to be. Alexa gets a really good reaction from the crowd. This company doesn't like that because that's not the chosen one. Helmsley, just like Vincent Kennedy, they want Charlie to get that top spot. They want Charlie to get that reception. They want Charlie to get that love that Alexa gets. They tried this before with Asuka, and it failed miserably. And that's when Asuka had the championship. And it derailed Asuka's title reign, and then Asuka just lost the title. Charlie became champ. Now, at least there's no title here. This is just to waste some time before Charlie gets back in the title picture. They want everybody to see, she's not in the title picture. She's not Charlie Hogan. She's in this tag team now with somebody you love. You love Alexa. So now you can love Charlie too, right? It's the rub. Try to get the rub from somebody you do love, so now you can love Charlie just the same. It didn't work with Asuka. It ain't going to work with Alexa. In fact, it's going to tie down. It's going to be an anchor to the ship that is known as Alexa because Charlie was an anchor to Asuka, and an anchor just brings you down. It doesn't let you sail. Alexa was sailing when she came back, even with bad booking. But with atrocious booking, like tagging her up with Charlie, unfortunately, you're just going to sink at that point. I told you this was happening. We don't got to be friends, but we can be allies for the common interest, she tells Charlie. That's going to be a tag team. For what? Are you going to get tag titles? Because isn't that the whole point of the Bellas? The Bellas were going to come back and defeat Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Liv got injured, so now they don't know what they're doing with the tag titles. Monday, they teased that they were going to make an announcement, and then somebody came into the office, and we never heard another thing. On tonight's show, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis were talking about the tag team division. They were about to make a decision, it looks like, but then everybody kind of stormed into the office or something like that. So that shows you the company doesn't even know. Right now, they're just going to keep the titles on Raquel Rodriguez. Maybe they kind of insert Roxanne Perez, Roxy. They did that recently when somebody got injured. Who was it? I think it was when Jade was injured, right? And then Naomi kind of slid in and they just gave the tag title with Naomi. So it was Bianca and Naomi. It's not really a Freebird rule because it was never a team of three. They were friends. So this would be the same thing. It's not a Freebird rule because Roxy is not in a trio tag team with Roxanne or Raquel and Liv. I hope this makes sense. So they don't know what they're doing with the tag titles. But last I was told, the Bellas were getting them. Then why are you putting Charlie and Alexa together? Yeah, you would think that would have to be some type of goal, right? Tag titles. Are you telling me you're going to have faces versus faces, Bellas versus Alexa and Charlie? This is so stupid. None of it makes sense. But we'll let it play out, and then we'll rip it apart when it leads to exactly where we believe it's leading to. And then Wade Barrett interviewed Jade Cargill, the aforementioned Jade Cargill, and Asuka ahead of their Queen of the Ring final tomorrow night at Night of Champions. So Wade Barrett's doing this interview, Jade and Asuka. Naomi comes down to the ring. Naomi talks a lot of junk. As per usual, the whole I hold all the power because I have the briefcase. Whatever. I'm just glad Naomi's got TV time. Naomi's involved in something of somewhat relevance. And she's got that briefcase, and she does hold the power. But just like Seth Rollins, I don't need to hear them say 85 times a week how they hold all the power. We get it. We know how this works. We've seen it for years. But Naomi's cutting a lot of wah-wah-wah promo. Jade went to go after, kind of brush aside Asuka. You know, like you're the third wheel. I'm going after Naomi. So Asuka just kind of took Jade right out, man. And that would not be the last you saw of Naomi. Naomi would be involved in the Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax last woman standing title match later in the night. So at least Naomi is getting some good TV time. Andrade and Rey Fenix defeating DIY via pinfall. This matchup is the exact reason why nobody can take this tag team division serious. And if you needed any more proof of that, the tag match that was about 20 minutes later between the Wyatts and the Profits for the tag titles, that was the exclamation point. So Andrade and Fenix, they defeat DIY via pinfall. Fenix hits Blackfire. Andrade subsequently delivers the message. DIY eats another one. No question Fenix needed a W. He hasn't had a match in a month. He's lost his last 3, and he doesn't have a singles victory in 2 months. So yeah, Fenix really needed this. But DIY has recently started calling themselves the leaders of the tag team division. How can you call yourselves the leaders of the tag team division when you never win? Forget title matches. You can't even beat a team that's not even a team. Andrade and the mystery tag partner, that's how it was being billed last night. You knew it was going to be Rey Fenix. That's Helmsley's prerequisite. Does anyone else speak Spanish? Oh, where's Phoenix? Get Phoenix in here. Yes. I have the LWO tied up right now on something else. LDF is doing this. I need... yes, Phoenix, you go up with Andrade. That's all you got for Helmsley's creative. This is what I mean about toddler creative. Crayons and a coloring book. So you knew it was going to be Phoenix. Helmsley doesn't go outside the box. So DIY can't even beat that. What? Who's taking DIY seriously? Who's taking any of this seriously? And in 20 minutes... not for this review, it's going to be in like 2 minutes. But in this show, about 20 minutes later, you were going to get a tag title match, and that was even worse, booking-wise. Wyatts and Profits. We'll get to that in 2 minutes. But first, R-Truth. And this is just atrocious as well. This is absolutely terrible. You got to feel bad for Truth. All the momentum in the world. And Helmsley took this organic fire that Truth brought back with him, right? He was on fire, this Truth movement on fire, and Helmsley made sure to douse it with water. He poured water, hosed it down, this fire, until Truth is so cooled off. Has he already lost all that momentum? That's the question. It's no longer, hey, in a few weeks, if he keeps being booked like this, is Truth going to lose all the momentum he had? Now the real question is, has Truth already lost the momentum? Truth was one of the hottest storylines because it was real. It was organic. Just a few weeks ago. And already, it's beyond cooled off. And why? Because look at the booking. Helmsley could have done so much with this creatively. BC had 100 ways you could bring Truth in that was going to be electric and captivate the wrestling world for bare minimum months to come. And if done correctly, that means a lot longer, because then you transition into something else and other things. Instead, Helmsley's like, we're just going to have you mingle in with John Cena. We're going to have you as the side chick to Cena and Punk's feud. Because that's all Truth has done the last several weeks since he's been back. He's the side chick. Look what he did last Friday. He gets hit with the title. He's out for the next 10 minutes. CM Punk is also passed out for 10 minutes through the Slim Jim table through one attitude adjustment. But you didn't see Truth the rest of that match. So R-Truth hits ringside in tonight's show. He wants John Cena again. They have nothing for R-Truth. It's just I have to get John. All of this very real outpouring because he was kicked to the curb by Helmsley and the Authority by WWE. And the fans spoke up. He comes back, right? We all know the ins and outs of this, the intricacies of it all. And the best they had is just keep calling out John Cena every show, every week. And so he comes out and he calls out John Cena, and instead he gets Aleister Black. Black knocks him out flat with Black Mass. Black gets on the mic, and Black says, I guess we're even now, Ron. I guess this makes us even, Ron, is what he says. And then backstage, Priest has some words with Black. At least do that face-to-face, man. You didn't have to take him out from behind, because Priest is friends with Truth, obviously. Subsequently, Mello would get into the mix. Mello's like, stay away from Truth, or I get upset. I don't know what Mello's doing in this, man. They don't know what they're doing. But back to R-Truth. That's his booking? You see, like how they mint, because you're probably done seeing Cena in Truth. Cena's only got a few dates. You don't want to just keep using them up with R-Truth, especially when you know Truth's not getting the title. So they transitioned to this Aleister Black feud. This was, if there was ever a time for Truth versus the Authority, it was now. Cena's not the Authority. I guess you could have tried to make that, right? He's in association with The Rock and TKO. You could have made kind of Cena the Authority, but they didn't. They chose not to go that route. Cena's just doing his regular heel promos. R-Truth was just another stepping stone to get to Punk. Punk is going to be a stepping stone to get to whoever. That's it. I just can't believe how cooled off R-Truth feels. That's not fans being fickle. Oh, fans are already over R-Truth. No, they never had a chance. His booking is weird as shit. He's calling out... He's pissed off at WWE, clearly, from what he was posting. Everyone knows the actual story. And you bring him back in storyline form with Jonathan Cena. Like Cena... That's who he's... Well, BC, maybe he feels that Cena's the one that got him fired. That's not part of the story, though. Cena's not really hammering that down. Truth is not really saying that. Truth is just pissed off because before Truth got fired by the company or told he was not going to re-sign. His last opponent was John Cena, so they just wanted this to be easy and as simple as possible. Just go back to the same person you were fighting before we decided not to re-sign your contract, but then changed our mind because everybody was putting our ass to the coals. That's our truth. I can't even believe it, man. I can't believe how just they dropped the ball. This was one of the biggest things in pro wrestling we've ever seen. One of the coolest things you could have had. And now R-Truth just comes in the middle of this show and you're kind of like, oh yeah, R-Truth. And 2 minutes later, he's knocked out. Aleister Black. And now you'll get to see Aleister Black versus Truth. You know, Aleister, he came back and he just beat The Miz for 2 months. Dumbfounded. And then the title match I was telling you guys about, that makes the whole, not just this match, but the tag team division pathetic. This is why I say that. You ready for this? Street Profits Wyatts title match. Just use your smarts on this, guys. How do you guys think this match ended? Just think about how Helmsley books all of his tag team matches in the tag team division. If you're thinking, oh, BC, if that's the case, then he probably brought all of the tag teams in during this match. Ding, 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 ding. Exactly correct. That's exactly what happened. Wyatt, Street Profits for the tag titles, a DQ, a no contest. Just call it a clusterfuck. Because they only say it's a DQ when it suits them these days. Otherwise, they say it's a no contest, even though it's a clear disqualification, DQ. But to save face, the 50-50 book everybody even more extreme, nowadays they say it's a no contest. I don't even care what they want to call this on commentary. No DQ, no contest. It's a full clusterfuck. That's all it is. DIY is involved. Garza and Humberto. Rest of the Wyatts, or at least Eric Rowan. Fraxium. MCMG. They're all out there. All of them. Of course, the biggest problem with that is that's how every single week, every single tag match ends that way. Backstage, all the tag teams are always together arguing. In the ring, all these tag teams are always fighting each other at the same time. We've seen all these teams in like 8-man tags and in fatal 4-way tag team matches, and you name it, we've seen it. Tag team gauntlet matches. It is nobody understanding that eventually you have to tell stories with this division. There's no stories. There's nothing. There's just every single match or every segment backstage. It's just every tag team is together because they don't even want to spend a second to get creative. So we've been seeing this for months and months and months, especially on SmackDown, where it's just all the tag teams are together. Backstage segments, for some reason, they're all hanging out, arguing the entire show. Matches, they can't have one match without every tag team running out there to fight. What the fuck? The whole division just fights each other every week at the same time. There's no story. There's no reason to care. There's no division. Once again, I was really hoping, listen, I know the titles aren't changing hands more than likely, nor should they. No, the Street Profits you can't do them dirty like that. You just did Zelina dirty as it is. No. And you have to be careful how you book the Wyatts, because they're a stone's throw away from already booked into obscurity. How sad is that for the 19th time? But that's where Helmsley has to earn that money and finally get creative. But he refuses to. And the truth is, he can't even if he tried, because he doesn't have that creative gene. He sucks at this writing thing. He sucks at creative, and that's why he doesn't spend a damn ounce of energy or time trying to be creative, because he knows he sucks at it. So this is your tag team division, and I was hoping it wasn't going to happen in this match, but it did. Pathetic. Profits keep their titles. Wyatts are still booked to... I don't know what the Wyatts are booked as. This whole tag team division. This is it. Not a reason to care because they're not doing anything fun. They're not doing anything interesting. BC may be the only one to drop this amount of amplified truth onto you, but somebody's got to say it as real as it is. That's the truth that nobody wants to... This is not fun because they're not doing anything unique. Every week, every tag team is fighting each other at the same time. We've seen it for months. So nobody can go, well, this is fun, though. Okay. Well, don't be shocked when people tell you that it's not for them. And then we go into the main event match. Cena and Punk would end the show, but Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. We've seen this match several times, so I mean, wrestling-wise, you can throw in ladders, you can throw in tables and chairs and kendos. You can throw it all in there. It wouldn't matter. We've already seen Tiffany and Nia too many times. This match was pretty clunky. It was pretty off in many ways, but Naomi would hit the ring and tease some cash-ins. That pretty much livened it up a little bit, put a pulse into the match. Tiffany would gain control of that briefcase, take out Naomi and Nia Jax. Eventually, Jax would go through 2 tables, and Tiffany Stratton would hold that championship up in victory. Tiffany wins this match. Tiffany retains her title. Hopefully that is it with Nia Jax. Yeah. That's I wish I could elaborate, but no, I actually don't wish. I mean, no, I don't have to spend another minute. I don't have to take another minute from you guys to elaborate any more on this. Nia Jax loses again. That's it. Put her to the back of the line and now focus on Naomi and Tiffany. Sound good? I like it. Again, Night of Champions, you could have had some of these titles. I don't know why you're getting 3 title matches on a SmackDown 24 hours before an event called Night of Champions where you don't have a card of championship matches. You just don't. The main event segment itself was reserved for a John Cena promo. Thug-A-NOMICS music hits. It's basic Punk-A-NOMICS. CM Punk dressed up as old school John Cena. And he's cutting some bars. And he's dropping some, well, yeah, basic Punk-A-NOMICS. And he's alluding to Cena and his burying of individuals throughout his career, which has been a hot debate amongst fans. Bringing back, I believe, Nikki Bella, right? And getting ex-girlfriends rehired and just a lot of low blows, man. But very good coming off of the Punk promo, the pipe bomb from many years ago, and John Cena redoing that. And that just stole the headlines for an entire week. An entire week. That's how well done that was. So they said, you know what? Let's have some more fun with this. What if we go old school with Cena's gimmick and what made him popular, which was those raps, those bars. That's when people started to give a second look to Cena, guys. As corny as it may seem, and as corny as it was, it is still what made people give Cena a second look, because it wasn't going to be the prototype that got him to where he is. Those jorts had to start somewhere. It was that basic Thug-A-NOMICS character. So they rehashed that, and CM Punk said, you want to hit me low with my pipe bomb? I'm going to hit you low with your Thug-A-NOMIC bars. It's going to be heavily criticized. I know some people may say, dude, that was so good. Some people will say, oh, that was awful. That's the best they got. It's outside the box. It's fun. You're limited with Cena as far as what you can do. He still has productions that he's doing, even though he's doing this wrestling thing. There's a lot of money on the line outside of this for John Cena. So you can only get physical with him to a point. That's literally in writing with his other productions. So you have to think outside the box. You have to have fun things like the pipe bomb rehashing or Punk-A-NOMICS. You have to do these things to liven it up. Because the only other alternative is they go out there and they each spit on the microphone as CM Punk and John Cena, and the show goes off the air. Let's have something unique, something different. I understand there was some flubbing. It wasn't flawless. But you're going to remember it, though. And that's what we don't have enough of in pro wrestling. Things you're going to remember, even if it wasn't the best or the coolest. Things that we're going to remember. Moments, situations, segments you're going to remember. You're going to remember that pipe bomb last week. You're going to remember Punk-A-NOMICS. I thought it was, listen, on a show that had a lot of flaws, that was one of, if not the brightest spot of it, man. And just Punk all geared up in Punk-A-NOMICS. Come on, man. Have a little bit of fun, right? And this is coming from Mr. Negative. But for me to say that, I thought it was well done. If you didn't see it, take about 5 or 10 minutes, guys. Check it out. I think you'll have a laugh. And again, it'll be a memorable situation. Something we don't have enough of in today's pro wrestling, man. On any of these shows, unfortunately. Smackdown 6/27/25. I'm going to go re-up on a lot of coffee. Finally hit up my refresher that's been sitting there for a while going, hey, man, what about me? I'm going to down that refresher, down the rest of my vanilla triple shot, and regroup on some more coffee because we have a big Night of Champions Saturday coming up in just a few hours at this point. So we're going to have live streams. Make sure you're just locked on the channel, man. Make sure subscribed, notified, all of the things, man. Smash all the buttons. Live streams, full throttle amplified reviews, you name it. I got you covered with Night of Champions, man. Straight through the weekend. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we're out. PC in the unit. We're saying check you. Salud.